Building a SaaS startup is exciting, but today simply having a great product is just not enough. Gone are the days where, build it and they will come. So you're probably sat here scratching your head wondering, okay, like, why am I getting no people trialing it? Why am I getting no demos? Why is nobody signing up for my product? Well, I can tell you now, you're probably making, I would say, at least 10 plus mistakes on your homepage alone. Now, this combined with customers' short attention spans, how many products are now coming out all the time, it's essentially make or break for your product. Now, the good news is there are lots of established SaaS companies who are converting people really well, and we can learn from that site just as long as we know what we're looking for. So I'm going to show you Notion's homepage today. I'm going to give you 7 different things that they're doing really well that you can implement into your site to increase your trials and increase your demos and increase your signups. Let's get into it. Okay, so we land straight in here. Really nice overall view. We've obviously got kind of nice big opening kind of sentence at the top, although I think that could be a little bit stronger. But we're getting straight into the system here to kind of, it's animated. It gives us an indication of what's going on with the product. And I quite like these sort of like little visual kind of items around the side. It's a really nice way of showing that Notion integrates with all of these different systems without having to say it, right? The fact that it's showing like a file with HubSpot, or it's kind of linking with an icon linked to Gmail. Little things like this just mean, oh, it's clearly going to link with all of these systems. Now, right at the top, we've also got micro content. So the micro content on your button is really, really key. So what we're pushing here is, not sign up now. It's like get Notion for free. Like that's a really important kind of micro content that we can be taking advantage of. We've obviously got the secondary request a demo, and what I mean by secondary is because the get Notion is slightly brighter, it really stands out a lot more compared to the request a demo, which means this is our kind of primary and this is our secondary one. And you'll see in the top right corner we've then got get Notion for free again. So really well thought out kind of items that are on here. I also like these credibility building areas. Now this is something that I appreciate. Small companies that have just started out might not have a lot of credibility building, but there's always great ways that we can add this into the business. Look at ways that we can make stats more impressive. What are the things that we can do? They've got trusted by 98% of the Forbes Cloud 100. I mean, that's a pretty awesome stat, right? But if you're doing something to do with emails, you could even just reference, even if you've only got 2 or 3 clients, you may have sent 10,000 emails. So the big impressive stat can be that you've sent over, trusted with over 10,000 emails. All of a sudden sounds a lot more impressive than just, we work with 3 clients. So it's things like that we can definitely take advantage of. As we go down, I think one of the big things, and I appreciate this can be slightly time consuming, but they do a really good job of visually answering most people's objections and concerns with animations. So rather than just static imagery or just photography, we're kind of running the user through so they've got something to watch to easily run through this. And it's nice that if I'm interested in, task routing agents, I can very quickly see this in action and how it works. I think that's a really, really nice way of doing it. Also, the site is quite modular in its feel, so it's easy to digest the information. And there's not loads and loads of text I'm having to kind of constantly read. I appreciate that we do need that content there to help it rank. But if we're just focusing from a conversion perspective, this is a great way of doing it. Now, if I cycle a little bit further down the page, this is a big one that I really want to make reference to, is a lot of SaaS companies are hiding their pricing away, and we don't want to do that. We want to make it as clear as possible. Don't hide it behind a payment gateway or anything like that, or a sign up, or book a demo first to say pricing. Let's just get this on show. Right, and it's really nice that they're doing it just by type in the number of users you've got, click on what you want to have, and we'll just tell you what that overall price is going to be. I mean, this is technically based on annual savings, but it's a really nice way of doing it. It's things that we can take advantage of. I also really like kind of this testimonial section. It's a really nice way of building credibility again. There's video options. We've got impressive logos. We've got individual case studies we can link to. We've got certain kind of key information that's being highlighted out. All of these things are going to help to build credibility. A really small one that's kind of simple to do, but just making it super clear to the user, Like, it knows I'm on a Mac, right? It's already identified that, and it's swapped the call to action, the CTA, in for me. Now, if you're a SaaS startup, we want to make it as physically easy as possible for the user to sign up or to try your product, right? So, if it just said download now, there may be a question or a concern in the back of my head of like, well, does it work on a Mac? Does it work on Windows? Will it work on my computer? The fact it just says that straight away, again, another little tick that's just going to make life so much easier for someone to sign up for. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to flick to the pricing page, because I feel like Notion's got a little bit of a masterclass for this. So again, one tool to run your company, really nice. We're always building credibility, so we're showing kind of who's using it. And then they do have this option where we're automatically set to pay yearly. Now, I think this is actually quite clever. It could be seen as a little bit annoying from a user perspective, but actually, if I was to land on here and I know if I'm starting on monthly and it's £10, that's one thing, and I might think that's okay priced. But actually, if it starts here at $8.50, I'm like, oh, that's a great price. I'm definitely interested. Then I realize, oh, I only get that if I'm yearly. Let me see it monthly. I've already kind of won myself over from the positivity of the lower price. So it's a little bit manipulative, but it does work really, really well. Now, I would say that one thing with Notion is they do have a number of different options. It can get a little bit confusing, but I think what they do really nicely is they try not to overcomplicate it. They just break it down into kind of 3 different options of what you can potentially have. And you can kind of see here, like, we've got these here. We can easily get to them. There's nice big contrast options between them. Some things that you sometimes get with pricing is they focus on making it look as aesthetic as possible. But then actually, quite often, if people don't put these lines in, it's really hard to see like, oh, which tick does this relate to over here? And that's happened quite a few times with when we've taken projects on and we've had to make improvements to their pricing page. It's little simple things like this to make it easier to digest the information can be really, really critical. The other thing is that at all times, this sticky option to sign up is on show, and it's also constantly highlighting, just in case the user forgets, which option am I on? So this is the plus option, this is the business, this is the price. Do you want to sign up? It's just a really nice way to flow through those things. And if we get to the bottom and we're still a little bit unsure, I've probably got some questions, I've probably got some concerns, and this is a really well-placed FAQ that I can then go through. Now, sometimes people can make mistakes with FAQs, that they have all the answers on show, it takes up lots of space, it's overbearing. But what they've done nicely with this one is it's what is called an accordion, so they open and close based on me interacting with them. I wouldn't also be surprised, it would be great if they did this, which is I hope they're monitoring which ones are being clicked on the most, because if there's one that's being really clicked on, then they could even make a whole new section about why that's a really great feature to have. So again, things like that can be really, really beneficial. And if we get down to the bottom, still got more questions, let's point them somewhere. Let's point them to the help center, or in your case, it might be to point them to get in contact with you just to ask some extra questions. But it's a really, really great way of doing it. And I don't think we need to overthink it any further than that. Like, if you look at the individual takeaways I've just given you from here, a lot of it will boil down to overall credibility. It's micro content on some of the individual buttons. It's how we're laying certain information out. It's making sure the content is really digestible. And it's being really transparent and open with our costs and making it as easy as possible for that user to sign up. If you remember that example I gave around kind of download for Mac now. So what I want you guys to do is give some of these ideas a go on your own site, see if they make a difference to the overall conversion rate. If you have any ideas or you want me to review your own site, just drop a link down into the comments and we can go from there.